it plays this stop and go game. It's very difficult, I imagine, with what they can do with just passing by some of the sheriff's deputies.
Just drove through.
Right there, as he just saw.
We are live. Welcome back. Took me a minute to go live here because we were in a standoff situation. I wasn't going to go live with just a standoff, but it is no longer a standoff. The car was parked. They just came up to him. They just came up to him with riot shields, and they dropped spike strips in the back. So he's got at least 2 tires down in the back. He does this thing where he drives about 20 yards, he parks, then he takes his phone out, which has the flashlight on it, and he starts moving it around. So this isn't a pursuit, but it technically is because they haven't got him in custody yet. This is a weird one. So we've done this now 3 times in which he stops. The cops will approach the car. They just came up with riot shields before. And then he pulls away but with about 20 feet.
Susie mentioned it is that suspect that dictates the path. It's not the officers there, but you, as you saw.
What's up, everybody? Mumble crap. Welcome back.
Would be in danger from this suspect.
So, Chrome Legend as well. Welcome back to Locust Nation. So he's driven over at least 2 sets of spike strips. Swag Bear 28. Welcome back to Locust Nation. Once and forever. He's got his cell phone out, flashing his own face. This is why I didn't go live before. I've been sitting here watching it. And he just kind of sits here. He's wanted for like threatening with a knife, all sorts of weird fidgety motions going on in this front seat here. Just drove over 2 sets of spike strips. Oh, and we're off again. And this has been, all right, so this is why I went live, because he just drives 20 feet and stops. Every time the cops get close, they park, they come outside of their vehicle, and then he drives away about 20 yards and he parks. Now, the difference between when we, oh, doors open. Doors open. What the? Screaming at the cops. Pointing. Still got that flashlight.
Obviously, what deputies do not want, they want you to stay inside the car, show your hands before you open the door from the outside, and then get
just antagonizing, confrontational. We saw before that there's about 12 LAPD vehicles, cruisers, right behind him. Some of them are armed with non-lethals, pepper balls, bean bags, and they had their riot shields as they were approaching the car. They were able to, they did this diversion thing where they walked up there and they pointed something at him with a flashlight, and then they dropped in the spike strips in front of the back tires. We'll get a replay of it at some point here. So they ran this like wounded duck play, and the backs are definitely flat. I don't know if he's driven long enough for them to actually lose traction and stuff, because he hasn't tried to turn, and he's obviously not moving. But this is a weird one. He's not happy. I would not say that's happy. They just shot a pepper ball at him.
With the less than lethal, I believe that they just shot a pepper ball or possibly a beanbag at this suspect. He kind of looked like he was taking cover and got back in the car. So that's going to let him know, look, we mean business, and it's just always wild to see these people come out and behave like that to sheriff's deputies. You know, who knows what.
Yeah, we're in Montebello. We've been here now for about 15 to 20 minutes. I've only been live for 4.5 because, once again, I didn't think it was worthy of going live just to watch a standoff, but this one is a little bit more than a standard standoff, as he's got that flashlight out once again, shining it. Jack Daddy 69, welcome in. Locust once and forever.
This has been breaking news for about half an hour now. We've been following this pursuit.
Yeah, look how flat that back left is. If he tries to drive away and turn this into an actual chase again, those 2 tires in the back, this will not go very long.
Guns on
And he may have a front right down as well, because when he was driving away from the spike strip, they got him again.
First time we actually saw him get out just a few minutes ago, and it looks like he was yelling something at officers for
Right?
quite a bit of time.
I didn't want to make you guys sit through a standoff. Oh, here we go. And we're off. I didn't want to make you guys sit through a standoff that was ultimately just going to end, but I only like to go live when I think it's worth it. And this one definitely deemed it. So there's another cruiser on the side. Look at this armada of zebras following him right now. Oh, don't you dare go under the bridge. Don't you dare go under the bridge. This always happens. And there's cruisers in front of him.
Getting out of the vehicle, Susie, at times in distress, looked very angry, and had his phone in his hand. It looked like maybe he was talking to someone.
Oh, this is so annoying. This is where all the Paul Walker challenges occur too. Under the bridge, they lose the helicopter. We can't see shit.
Here, and as you can see, a sheriff's deputy patrol unit set up right at the end of the street as well. We're talking about Garfield Avenue.
Well, they're clearly trying to go around.
Right now.
Slowly but surely.
60 freeway is what you're looking at, the traffic passing by over that on that pass there. And we'll often see this, Leslie, when suspects don't want to be caught on camera by like Desmond's camera, right? And they want to just do it their own way. And as you can see,
And there's a cruiser blocking the way in front of him. We got to get a better view here.
Sheriff's deputies getting in his car, getting out, going and stopping again, and clearly,
There's definitely a significant ratio difference of.
because of the fact.
Okay,
that,
we're getting a better view here.
Yeah, and at this point, Des, we see the deputies behind the vehicle. We can't necessarily see that. You see the bumper of the vehicle there.
All right, it's a slow reveal of the car here. Not in custody just yet.
Ended up taking off, didn't it?
Whoa! Why are the cops scrambling?
We were just about to, just as we were about to get eyes back on the suspect, they decided to take back off again. So bear with us here as we now.
Oh, he took off. And of course we miss it. This shit always happens.
There we go, through the intersection.
Okay, all right, thank God. Get away from the bridge.
But just very strange. This is kind of giving me memories of when there was a pursuit we covered that lasted for 6 hours that went on like this with a suspect with flat tires. They were doing this kind of thing, stopping and going, stopping and going, stopping and going. And it was, just, you can imagine one of the most aggravating experiences for officers with LAPD on that one that they were sticking with. And so far, this is kind of shaping up to be very much the same type of situation here. So north of the 60 freeway, these deputies have to keep getting in and out of their vehicles, reloading, and they're less than lethal, putting the safety on, taking the safety off, throwing the shields back in the trunk, and then getting back out. So, at some point it just gets, kind of exhausting. Here you see another unit taking off to get ahead to perhaps throw down another spike strip if need be. So you see
So the ratio now is 2 to about 12 in front of to behind.
Spike strip out, but they leave room for the suspect to go through if they want to continue. They're not going to box the suspect in. I know a lot of folks would like to see that happen.
Somebody in the comments said this will last as long as the suspect's phone battery. When that flashlight goes out, so does his spirit.
The LA County Sheriff's Department, as we're talking about different protocols for different jurisdictions and different agencies, I should say. For example, the
Waston,
CHP, they
Graben.
will go in and get pretty aggressive.
586, welcome back.
And they will just stack up.
You are a
behind
locust
different,
now and forever.
Officers, and they will actually.
Oh, you might be plugged in.
Quite often, as we see. But the LA County Sheriff's Department has different protocol. I was talking to CHP officers about why they do that, and why they are so much more aggressive than other agencies. And they told me that is because we have literally businesses to conduct on the freeway. So if you block the freeway for X amount of hours, let's say, because of a pursuit, that's stopping, and it's inhibiting other life to take place for people, for businesses, and things like that. The LA County Sheriff's Department, though, does have a protocol where they will take as much time as it takes, which is often the case with the LAPD as well.
Yeah, especially because these happen on the residential streets. Much more dangerous for the people living in the
Dodge Charger.
There's a gas station right there, and it looks like
Two
there were
down.
a couple people just standing by and looking.
Clear as day,
Many
silver
times,
Dodge Charger.
Susie, we do see it in these situations that people will try to get involved or get very close to that suspect, but it looks like sheriff's deputies able to keep the people at that gas station at least towards safety. Again, you're looking at this 2007 green Honda Accord. This suspect that police are trying to at least get out of the vehicle now. It looks like possibly on a cell phone. We've seen that suspect look to be maybe talking to someone. We've seen that many times. But this person looks angry. They look
Not happy.
possibly agitated. They had some choice words for officers that they were yelling out when they got out of the vehicle, but it looks like they continue to make lots of movement in that front driver's seat. And we do know that we don't believe anyone else is in that vehicle at this moment.
Desmond, do you see any more spike strips being set up?
I do not see any other spikes here. We can, well, let's widen out and show you, because we saw a couple of the deputies. They were going ahead up to the very next intersection, and they probably do have some spike strips right there in front of their vehicle, or they're ready to, you know, kind of yank the chain that will put them up in the roadway if the suspect decides to take back off again. Which, the way this is going is probably what's going to happen. You know, who are they talking to on the phone? You know, we would hope that talking to a family member that could then, you know, get a hold of deputies so that there could at least be some kind of line of communication. But obviously something going on with this suspect. They pointed a knife at someone. You saw him get out of the car, say whatever they were saying to deputies, and then stopping and going, just kind of zoning out. We had heard too that apparently the victim has seen this person before around the neighborhood. They don't know who this person is, but the victim says that they have seen them hanging around the neighborhood where this incident happened. And again, this was East LA sheriffs that initiated this at first. So somewhere, you know, pretty close to the East Los Angeles area or unincorporated Los Angeles there, kind of in the vicinity of the 60 and the 710 freeway is where I believe this all began.
You know, we always talk about how it's not easy for, you know, any jurisdiction to use spike strips, because deputies, obviously in this case, they need the time to retract and
What's on your mind, everybody?
retract that, you know, the street.
We're gonna be here a while.
And also,
Haven't had ourselves a marathon
obviously,
chase in quite some
not run
time.
over as well while this is all happening. But in a situation like this, where the car is stopped so often, really it was an ideal time and place for the sheriff's deputies to lie these spike strips down. Not only ahead is what we're hoping, but also just moments ago when we saw them actually lay one down as they stuck behind a body shield, and that's what they were doing, actually putting down a spike strip, and then the car ran over that. So
Guys, stop
it's
asking
unclear
basketball
what's gonna
questions.
happen, you know, up ahead, but
Boy, it's
this
enough
person,
basketball
again, still
today.
not giving up, making some sort of gestures, or maybe talking into his cell phone. We see the light from his cell phone, and making some motions as he's putting it close
Any
to his
possibility
face.
for
Looks
fur?
like he's talking into his cell phone, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it looks like he's talking
Yeah?
to someone there. It looks like possibly
They would need to blow out the
He
windows
does
first.
look very agitated.
But if they
He's
do that, the
been
dog
a
could get
lot
hurt with the
here.
shreds of
He's
glass.
been on his phone almost the entire time we've been over this here. Even when he got out of the car several times, Susie, he was waving his phone. He was
Hey,
saying something.
I know.
to
I think I
officers
used to be
there. So it
lactose
looks like he
intolerant.
may be
I
agitated
know what that's
here
like. Don't be
again.
drinking no
State,
milkshakes.
But at this point, officers, deputies on the ground just want to get him out. They want to make sure he doesn't take off again. We've seen him go a couple feet, stop, go a couple more and stop. But it looks like those tires, the front tires and the back tires, the rear tires, looks like both are pretty, you know, pretty flat there.
Yeah, I'm
Although
thinking
they
about
were
going to the
seeing
Chicago
vehicles
NASCAR
keep
race.
going for miles and miles, as Desmond said. There was 6 hours once just down the freeway there. But at this point, it looks like the suspect.
I haven't heard
is
much
being
about the
once again.
fur
You
missile
think
that
by
got
now,
unleashed
you
on
know,
the
if this
civilian.
person was stopped constantly or for good or for, you know, longer than, you know, 5
Why am I
minutes or
in a
so,
well-
because we've been seeing
well-lit
the pattern of
room?
stopping and going so
Good
often in this
question.
pursuit. You know, they
Got
could
a light
actually
right
call the
above my
Special
head, as a
Enforcement
matter of
Bureau
fact.
or the SEB to, you know, it's the LA County Sheriff's Department equivalent
Yeah.
of SWAT.
Yeah.
And they can actually go in and use their specially trained officers or deputies to go in there and do that. But it's difficult when they keep stopping and going, right?
Yeah, Susie and Leslie, I was just noting here that it looks like LA County Sheriff's deputies, they're not going to lay down any more spike strips, but you notice here that they're blocking off these residential streets. They want to keep the suspect from, you know, turning down a residential street, and then, you know, potentially they're thinking, what if this person tries to get out and run with a knife and, go into someone's house or something like that. So you see how they're blocking
Dame's
off those streets. They want to
Dame's gonna get fined for retweeting that, I think. Has anyone gotten fined for a retweet? Dame might be the first if he's retweeting.
No change.
Hate about the referees like that.
I'm trying to get a hold of this person somehow, but this is, trending. If this continues, then this is going to turn into a SWAT standoff where, it'll take a long time, but they can bring in those armored vehicles and insert some tear gas or something like that and force the suspect to get out. So it's just a matter of how long does this person want this to continue? How much longer do they want to sit in their car before they get in handcuffs? They could get out now, or they could get out later, possibly, suffering from tear gas or possibly from a dog bite. It's really up to them how this is going to end.
Yeah, and sheriff's deputies, they saw his behavior already, that he's not exactly cooperating with them, obviously, and was really agitated and yelling at them when he got out of the car for a moment at one of these stops, one of many stops during this pursuit, and was, yelling at them, when they were probably yelling at him to put up his hands.
You want to hear my thoughts on Steve Cohen? Well,
patrol units, but obviously he didn't do that. And
that
so
man is going to
he's
spend.
agitated, or a lot agitated, I should say.
He's going to keep spending money until he wins a World Series. While that contract is.
Yeah, and at this point,
The contract's only terrible in baseball if the result of which is you're not going to spend any more money because you've invested it all in the player that didn't work out. With Steve Cohen, like if Carlos Correa just his leg falls off, he'll just go give $300 million to the next free agent. That man has more money than an entire continent. So how can you ever say it's a bad contract when he just prints money for a living? On the contrary, like I started rooting for the Mets in the first place because I liked the New York team that didn't spend money. That was kind of the blue collar team. So I'm not mad about spending money, but what attracted me to the Mets in the first place was like I miss Benny Agbayani and Edgardo Alfonso. But I won't be mad if they win a World Series as a result. Spending money doesn't guarantee victory in baseball, especially.
Some kind of a plan back here.
He's going to spend, by the time he's done, he'll spend $1 billion in salary and luxury tax. $1 billion on just salary.
Special Enforcement Bureau, and that's to say, is the suspect going to try to take back off again just because they have flat?
So on paper, they look great, but
has to be a pretty static
spending money hasn't won the Yankees or won the Dodgers a bubble type of World Series, but
I'm just hearing them here try to
doesn't guarantee you shit.
further.
So,
These folks down here right
I don't know,
now.
weird place to be.
Too close to this, so.
Ooh, who's this?
Flight officer,
It's not a Nightcrawler.
They're in the helicopter saying, we got to get these people out of here, get them away from the scene. Always the term that it's kind of cliche, but abundance of caution, as they say. They don't want anyone getting too close to this if they can help it, and they're probably going to try to seal down this alleyway as well. So
The Mets team is also filled with mercenaries, like Justin Verlander and Scherzer. Those aren't Mets.
as well, this next intersection. Residential street, so that the suspect
DeGrom was a
doesn't go
Met.
there. So,
That's why it hurt losing him,
the
despite it
suspect
maybe
is
being the right
essentially
choice to let him go.
surrounded,
But
not
imagine being in that traffic over there.
They are, in a sense,
That would
surrounded
suck, waiting for this to
with
end.
tires, with deputies on the ground and in the air. So, how does this person want this to come to an end?
Yeah, it's true. And how an agency brings things to an end, different ways that they do so. We were talking about the different methods that the CHP, the LAPD, and the LASD all have. When we're talking about a pit maneuver, you might
Big
see a
D bar.
CHP, officer go for
welcome
it,
back.
on the,
Appreciate
on
you.
the streets and things like that.
Locust,
Oftentimes,
Antarctica Nation.
as,
Locust
Devin
in
was
Antarctica,
talking
now
about,
and forever.
The LA County Sheriff's Department actually didn't have pit maneuvers before Sheriff Alex Villanueva. He's the one who brought them. It looks like they're going to approach the car.
Oh, here we go. We're moving in.
Behind.
We got, oh my goodness, we got riot shields all over the place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total officers approaching the driver's side window, non-lethals pointed, moving in to open the door.
Look at this. The suspect was trying to drive again. Okay, they
He
dragged him out.
tried to drive away.
Trying to take off again, and they were able to yank him out and put the vehicle in park and bring this one to.
They yanked him out and
conclusion
put it
here.
in
So,
park.
Instead of waiting for hours, bringing
They
in
were not going to
the
wait
Special
hours like
Bureau,
they
they
did a
just
couple of
decided,
weeks
we're
ago.
just gonna go in. We've
You see that giant yellow rifle? That's a non-lethal. I don't know if that's pepper or smoke, but maybe beanbags. But one of them had it. Code 4s in the chat, please. Drop your 4s. We are Code 4 here in Montebello. The Army, the Armada of LAPD officers has
because it looked like for a moment
gotten the man in custody.
Going to keep on going just as long as he
And that's it.
could. And we were maybe thinking
That was
this
not
might turn into
an
an
eventful
hours-long
police
standoff,
chase,
as we
but
certainly have
you
seen
never know.
before
They're all
here
wild
in
cards.
K-Town line,
There's
and
no
looks like,
consistency
the deputies are
whatsoever.
now making that arrest, maybe,
So until next time,
making sure that he doesn't have any
you guys want to be
weapons on him.
notified
As we know,
of
he
police
pointed a
chases that
knife
occur.
at somebody at one point.
Feel
That's
free
why he was
to follow this
wanted,
account and turn your
looks like
notifications
they're
on,
gonna clear him,
and you
then
will know.
also they're gonna have people clear
But until
the
then,
deputies go and clear the car
go
as
Mets.
well. We're gonna have more on this
See you
tonight
next
on
time.
CBS 2 News at 11, but we'll be right back after.